Do I
mock
want to
him?
keep talking about him?
You seem so not amused by it.
No, I don't. But his administration is trying to omit LGBTQ people from the 2020 census, and that is a big deal.
What?
Um, yeah, what I said. They're removing. There was going to be the addition of these questions because you can't get services if you don't get counted. So the census is an incredibly important part of what the presidential administration is supposed to take care of, and now they are going to roll those new questions back.
And if I understand correctly, the questions. It wasn't that the questions were already on the census. These were questions that were heavily suggested to be added to the census because, as Dara said, that's how certain services and things like that are gotten. And so, how else can you track that without being able to ask those questions? Be able to say, okay, this is how many people that are in need of this, blah blah blah. And the Trump administration said, nah, just nah. Hey, Rod, I mean that's reasonable, right? Just nah. Oh wait. Sorry,
They
Rod.
don't keep up with the numbers,
What?
and
Say,
there's so
say,
many
say it one
people
more
that are
time,
like
Rod.
literally dying and stuff and in need of assistance that live in poverty, that are like discriminated against, have problems getting jobs and stuff. And if like I think census data is like step one of even tracking stuff like that. And the willful like not just the ignorance but like willful hatred to be like we refuse to even acknowledge anyone who isn't basically a straight person in these senses or cishet person. The fact that they're like we won't even acknowledge any of that is even more. It sends a message to that community like we definitely don't care about you and we don't even want to start.
Exactly. And I know there's already problems with the census that um, poor people who are less likely to answer the door or the phone or whatever are not going to get counted. People who don't speak English don't get counted as often. And some people who maybe don't need as many services get counted more than once. But it is still, it's still the foundation of how it's the foundation of our representative democracy. So if this administration literally says no, we're not going to add this stuff in there, it is a huge slight to the community, and it's saying exactly what you say, Rod, that they don't care about them, and this is just an extra way of letting you know that.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't expect them to do anything with this data. Like, I think there's a lot of like under a more liberal administration, I would expect something to be done with the data too. Like, okay,
Right.
how do we target people with these programs? How do we, try to afford protections? How do we, how do we help this community? I think this administration, even if they were tracking the numbers, no good would come of it. But the fact that they don't want to even track the numbers, I think is just a huge slap in the face.
And it
see,
also
let's
means that it's going to take, even if there is a liberal administration that comes in, it's going to take them even longer to be able to use numbers because they have to go about the business of doing the tracking.
and that was what I was about to point out, the fact that they might not do anything with the numbers, but if we're talking 2020, there's a solid chance that this is not the administration that will even be dealing with what the numbers mean, but they're basically cock blocking the information to the next administration. It's like just in case you thought you were going to be able to do some shit with this, ha ha, no.